And today we have another episode of a podcast, of course. Today's guest is tGrass, who's a fellow FGC TikToker and content creator. He's also a tournament organizer. We get into some of his favorite fighting games, his experiences being a tournament organizer, and just general conversation. And I hope you enjoy the episode. Have fun. Okay, so tGrass, one, thank you so much for joining me today. Well, actually, I'm going to officially start recording, I guess. Thank you for joining me on the podcast, of course. You are someone I actually look up to, tGrass. When I first joined TikTok, you're one of the original four, man. You're one of the original four FGC TikTokers. When I got to the app, I felt like more or less like there was no one on there, so I watched all of your stuff, all of Sharpie's, all of Drew, all of Yoshi's, and I gotta ask, what brought you to TikTok, man? Like, what brought you over to TikTok?
I think it's like everybody has the same TikTok origin story, and the fact that like it's like one of my friends would send me TikToks through Snapchat, and I was like, why are you doing that? It's really, I think you're like sending me Snapchats. He's like, just download the app, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And I was like, so whatever, I download the app and I'm already making like content on other things on the side, and I didn't really see anything gaming wise on TikTok, because like the first week you're like, you get all like the D'Amelio dancing and the BS, and then you have to like find your For You page and stuff. And I saw some gaming stuff on there and I was like, wow, I don't know why I never thought of this. So I guess it's like pretty smart that we can upload like 1 minute clips and stuff like that in vertical, and it seems like the algorithm's pretty strong. And then I was like, you know what, I'll start posting stuff after, I think it was a Devin Nash video I saw. Devin Nash is like a
I followed Devin too. I followed Devin too.
Okay. So for those who see this and don't know, Devin Nash is like a esports consultant and like a manager of like a agency and stuff like that, and he makes a lot of stuff about like Twitch meta and content meta and stuff like that. And he was like, yo, TikTok algorithm is stronger than YouTube algorithm. And I was like, damn, I suck at YouTube, so maybe I'll be okay at TikTok, and I'll try it. And then I was trying some stuff because I didn't see really any other fighting game people on there. I knew that Sharpie was on there after I posted that I had a TikTok account, and that's how I started talking to her. And then I feel like genuinely, like, you were like the first person I saw that was like consistently posting fighting game content. And I was like, oh, this guy's like got a lot more followers than me. Like, he's definitely got some kind of community here. So I was like, okay, so there's got to be fighting game people on this app. So why don't we just start throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks?
Like,
and that was like pretty much the beginning of everything.
Yeah. I was actually, I don't know if you remember, I messaged you and asked you about like fight sticks. Like, I was like super nervous.
We talked about this recently, right?
I was super nervous to message you. I remember.
Yeah, I wonder if the DMs are still there.
I remember I messaged you about fight sticks because like I've always played on controller, unless I was like actually at a legit arcade cabinet. I always played on controller. So like I wanted to get a fight stick, and I'm looking at it right now. It's over on my floor here. And I needed advice. I remember going to you and asking for advice about it. And then you're like, yeah, I use Hitbox. And I was like, sure. I didn't know what a Hitbox was yet. So I was super confused. And you said that to me. I'm like, sure, thanks. But I'm happy that like since then we've been able to like rap and play some games. And I feel like we're having some fun. I feel like the last couple of months has been
there you go. We can date it right here. April 29th. This is the first time you messaged me. And then March 23rd, we followed each other. Because, you get the little thing on TikToks where it's like, say hi to Phil, of course, or whatever.
That's crazy. Since April?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
April when you first messaged me, March when we followed each other.
I don't remember. I feel like I followed as many people as I could in like that first. I don't know how you did it, but I followed like so many people.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have to leak this DM real quick.
Sure.
Is that you asked me if I had a fight stick, and I was like, I have them, but I don't use it anymore. I use a custom hitbox. And you're like, I'm shopping around, and I'm a total noob to fight sticks. And you said, would you recommend which hot box?
That's funny. You said that to me, and I'll post that as my Twitter post tonight. That'd be hilarious.
I'm gonna screenshot that.
Dude, you should just take that and like make fun of me in a TikTok. Just like, see, y'all talk about Phil, but look at this shit.
Listen, we all have our own fails in our own right. One week very recently on the tournament I host, both my commentators weren't. One was away, and one was like going to like let his dog out. So I was there commentating by myself for like 3 matches, and I looked down at my stream deck and it said my mic was muted,
Oh.
and I like just go into the mic and I'm like, how long was I muted for? And people were like, yeah, like 4 sets. I was like, 4 fucking sets? No one said anything in chat? So I definitely know how it feels to to fail and stuff like that.
Actually, one of the very first Twitch streams I ever did, the whole set was muted the entire time.
Nice.
And not that it mattered, I didn't have anyone there listening to me to begin with, but so when you first started, it's like, oh, that's devastating.
I've been doing that a lot more recently. I used to be very on top of that, and then like recently, I'm like, so because the way I do the tournament now is like I have my mic on my stream deck for the stream separate from Discord. So sometimes I'll be muted on stream but live on Discord, or live on stream but muted in Discord, and I'm like, dude, I gotta stop fucking this shit up. You know, like I've been doing this too long to keep doing that.
Yeah, like I noticed that like this is the smallest stuff. Like I didn't do it today. I know for a fact I'm gonna hit my button here that's gonna go to my end screen, and I didn't fix the end screen like I did that I haven't done for like the last 5 streams. I still haven't done. I'm horrible at it. Absolutely horrible at it. But let's talk some fighting games. So what's your fighting game origin story? Like I don't know if you've listened to what we did with Lumi or Floki, but like I always am curious, like what was your first fighting game up to now? Like where has fighting games progressed with you?
I can give you a very weird timeline. When I was a kid, I had a cousin who was like 15 years older than me.
Okay.
But I always played like a lot of video games that like I probably shouldn't have been playing when I was like very, very young. Like I remember playing Halo at like 3 or 4 years old with my dad, which you know I'm sure my mom wasn't very happy about. But like my cousin owned the PlayStation 1 and he had Tekken 3, and I liked that game because it was one of the games he was playing. He was like always kind of into fighting games, but not like super into them. But he owned them all, so we would play Tekken 3, and I would just play King, and I was like, yo, is this guy human? I have no idea, but I like the tiger jaguar face thing. It's going for me. So I picked King, and that's the only character I would really play as. And then we would play a little bit of games. Then the next thing that I really played a lot, and this is probably like the game that really pushed me into fighting games, was Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah.
It is like one of my favorite games of all time. I've owned it on the GameCube version and the Xbox version. I used to play on GameCube. I'd play Link because I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan.
Yep.
If you can, it's blurred out, but I do have a Zelda poster over here. It's got all the links on them.
Nice.
I'm a huge Zelda fan. And then you'd go over people's houses, and I'm like, oh, Link's only on the GameCube version. Okay, I have to figure this out. So I picked Nightmare, and Nightmare/Siegfried is my favorite Soul Calibur character. And I would play those games. I played 2, played 4. In middle school, I was like the only person who played fighting games that I knew. Like literally no one else played them except like people in my family. My brother would play some with me, my older brother. And then I still had this older cousin. And then the real like there's like Soul Calibur 2 was like push 1, and then push 2 was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, so
what?
So
I don't hear that very often.
It's crazy. One of my, like I said, my cousin's like 15 years older than me. I honestly don't even know anymore. And one of his friends was like, I would talk shit when I would play.
Okay.
And he would get like pissed off about it. So he would be like, yo, I could beat your cousin, blah, 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 blah. So then I would like, it was like the first game where I sat down and I went into fucking training mode, and I was like, I have to learn to do combos. Okay. Because I know combos exist because I've seen them on the internet. I would play Captain Marvel, which is now Shazam, and I practiced a lot, and I played that game. And looking back on it, I hate that game so much. I hate it with a passion. But at the time, I was like, yo, this game is sick.
I think I have it around here. I bought it recently. It was like
I think I have it in my closet. I have all my Xbox games in my closet. Yeah. I still have that one.
And I was playing. It's weird mechanics. Like
game is the rage mechanic is the stupidest thing in that game, and the wall breaks where you could like hit somebody all the way, and then if you got the right button with them, it would flip them around and they would take all the damage.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game would drive me insane.
The other one though, like just the fact that it was like it was Midway at the time, I guess, but it was a 3D. It was an arena. Like it wasn't a 2D, which blew my mind. That was a big thing that I took away from that, how crazy it was. Because I remember, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big DC fan. Like, I can talk. We're gonna talk about Nightwing before the end of this, I promise.
Okay.
But like when I saw that game come out, I was like super excited because I'm like, is DC finally gonna like take a run at Marvel versus Capcom? That's what I thought it was, and then the game actually came out, and I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna do it. Is it?
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Around all these times, like I never played Marvel. Never, ever. Like, we're getting up around that era, like Mortal Kombat vs. DC's like 2008. I played a shit ton of MK9 because my brother would play and all of his friends played fighting games, and I still really didn't have any fighting game friends, so I would just play online. I would play Noob Saibot and Smoke and like just would train a bunch because I was like, I hated losing so much. I didn't even care about winning, but I hated losing, especially because I had this like ego where I'm like, these people don't even practice as much as me. I should be winning, kind of thing. And yeah, I was playing a bunch of that. I played a bunch of Soul Calibur 4. Soul Calibur 4 was huge for me. I played a lot of that. I'm like weirdly good at Soul Calibur naturally. It's not a really hard game, but like I was pretty good at that game. And then I took a big break from fighting games. And then 2014, over the summer, this would be, I'm sorry, I'm going to make you feel old for a second, Phil.
That's fine.
For the summer going into my senior year of high school, which was 2014 going into 2015, I found this video just popped up in my YouTube recommended called The Smash Brothers, which is, you know, the documentary about Super Smash Brothers Melee. And I stayed up the entire night and watched the whole thing. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Because I played Smash a bunch as a kid, but I was like, I don't really call that a fighting game. You know, it's more like a party game or whatever. And then one of my friends that I met at the time, his name's John. I was like, yo, I want to learn this game because it's super cool. You should watch this documentary. And he watched it and we were super into it. And we started going to tournaments. And like, that was like really like my like birth into the scene was 2014. Going to Smash stuff. Went from like in the documentary they're like, oh, you gotta go on Smash boards and find your locals. By the time 2014 was around, Smash boards was gone, bro. That is not a thing anymore. That was a desert wasteland. I was like, where do I go to next? And then like I tried Facebook and I found a Facebook group and started going to locals. The guy who was the TO, which is actually funny enough, this month he's getting married. I'm in his wedding party.
Nice.
Yeah, which is super cool. You know, I started going there and I was like, dude, this is so cool. I was not very good, but
Are we talking
honestly
Melee?
at the time, Melee. I was not very not a lot of people around there weren't either. So I'd go and play a bunch, and I played Smash probably almost exclusively till like 2017, and then like I had some issues. During that, the whole time, I really transitioned myself from a player into a TO.
Yeah.
Tried making some content, did some streams, but my computer was a piece of shit. And I would try and make some YouTube videos. They're all unlisted, but I have like some of the biggest Melee tutorials ever. They have like 30,000 views. And there was just like me like just doing like VOD review, and nobody ever really thought to do that. Which was interesting at the time. And then I was TOing for a while. What's up?
We should be doing that now.
I really should be doing that now. I do it way less now.
Yeah.
I really should be doing that now, but I don't anymore. I guess I got lazy.
Yeah.
And then 2017 stopped playing Melee, and then E3 2017 the trailer for Dragon Ball Fighters comes out, and I was like such a big Dragon Ball fan. I was like, yo, I'm gonna be the best player in the world at this game, not knowing what the fuck I'm saying, of course. Game comes out. I played for a little bit, drop off, and then when season 2 hit for the game, I like full swung into content. I was just like, I always wanted to be a streamer or like a YouTuber since I was like 12. Also, I was like, you know what, let me just like give my shot at it, and things went well. And some time later, started running online tournaments, and yada yada, and we're kind of here now. There's like a year or so in between that, but that's the short long story version of how we got to this point.
Yeah. So like throughout all that time, I heard how you were playing Melee. Did you mess around with Smash 4 at all? Or are you like when are you an OG Smash?
I was playing Melee, and I was playing Melee super serious, and like it was very high cool, and I really loved that because it made me, you know, like you feel fulfilled when you hit buttons, right? Like that's just like the fun parts of fighting games. And I played Smash 4, and I played it literally the first day, and I was like, I hate this game. I hate this game. It is nothing like Melee. It is so slow and boring, and I hated the input buffer. I think I own a Wii U. My brother bought me a Wii U, bought it for me. It was really, he bought it for himself and his friends to come over and play. For my birthday, I played Smash 4 3-4 times maybe.
Wow.
I hated it so much.
What do you think of Melee, or excuse me, Ultimate?
Ultimate's all right. I think that Ultimate's a really, really cool game, and I really like watching it. I can't play it though because the input buffer is just way too high, and the online is abysmal, the worst there is.
Yeah.
Other than those two things, like if it had like real online, and like the input buffer wasn't like 7 frames offline for GameCube, I would play it. Honestly, I really would. There's a lot of cool characters in that game.
Yeah. Like I'm assuming you saw who got released most recently, the Final Smash game.
Yeah,
like some of those like are dream come true.
I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan. I've always kind of been a Kingdom Hearts hater because I think it makes no sense. But
I can't explain a single thing about it. I wasn't the biggest Kingdom Hearts fan either, but like I understand like how big it is that Sora's in the game. I respect the fact.
Yeah, I mean like it's cool, but like man, they could have added Dante. Would have been so cool.
Oh, so you're a Dante.
Dante would have been so cool. Well, or Crash. Crash would have been so cool too.
Like I wanted Lara Croft. Like I'm a big Tomb Raider fan, and I've always wanted her. And there's very little support for her in the community.
Yeah, I feel like Tomb Raider has like sometimes they make great games, and then like the next game they release is awful, and they just go through this cycle where people like forget it exists, and a good game comes out, then they forget it exists again.
Yeah. I want them to do a crossover with her and Uncharted pretty bad, but I doubt that's gonna happen.
I've never played Uncharted. If those games came to PC, I'd probably play them though. They look pretty fun.
I think they actually confirmed that. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, it's only the 3 and 4 though.
Oh, gotcha. Because you want to go through the whole series.
Sucks.
Are you like a full series guy? You have to play all the games.
I mean, I'd like to be just so I know where I'm at. I feel like it depends on the series. Like sometimes I jump in the middle, but like it depends. Like Uncharted seems like a pretty story-driven game, so I feel like I'd want to play the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, outside of fighting games, what other games do you play? Like, what are some of your other go-to games throughout the years?
Obviously throughout the years, I played a lot of Halo. I played competitive Halo when I was really, really young. Mm-hmm. Played a lot of Gears of War growing up. I played a lot of like the Xbox games. I honestly wasn't the biggest COD. I played COD just because all my friends played COD, but I wasn't really into it. Played a lot of sports games. Did sports game tournaments, which was fun. Really frustrating also.
Are you talking about
nowadays?
Like Madden?
I'm talking about like NBA 2K. I used to play nice. I used to play like a disgusting amount of NBA 2K, like so much. Nowadays, really what I play, if it's not fighting games, which I haven't been playing too much in the past like 6 months or so, but I've been starting to get into it a little bit more. I sadly play League of Legends with my friends. I will only exclusively play with my friends.
Okay.
I play a lot of Apex Legends. And I like to play a lot of single player games if I can get the chance to, but I kind of have to be in a mood for it. But honestly, if there's people playing a game, that's kind of just where I want to be now.
Yeah. Like I feel like I've had more fun just jumping in and playing in a lobby with like our little crew. It's been more fun doing that the last.
It's been way more fun playing fighting games that way than to like grind ranked or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I just can't do that much anymore.
Yeah. Like I'm like an Injustice 2 guy still because I'm a crazy person. But like I'll sit in the lobby and I'm not lobby, in the lab and just practice combos over and over and over again. I'm like, well, what am I doing? If I don't have anyone to face in this game, why am I practicing a game that no one's going to face me in? So, but like going into like you, me, Lumi, Floki, everyone jumping in, just beating each other up. It's been a lot of fun. I also know I'm really bad. Enjoying it. I'm really bad. Your Cinder's pretty nice in K.
Thanks. I think I just have like a little bit of a more of a advantage playing like the weird character that has like, I don't know, stipulations around him. Like he's not the best at what he does, but he likes to take things away from you to make his job easier, which I
Yeah.
think is fun.
Like if there was one point I was facing you, you did something and I died, and I'm like, it was like you set up those like orb thingies, and then you did like two things, and I attacked you, and then I died. I don't remember exactly. It's you said
Yeah,
flame.
it's like if the way you end his combos, if you end with like a kick end of a string, he'll burn your feet, and then you can't use any of moves that involve your feet. Or he'll burn your arms, and then you can't do anything that's upper body, any moves like that until the flame. I think it's like 8 seconds, but every time you use the move, the 8-second timer restarts. So like,
just busted.
it's busted, but the white health or whatever, you get it back if you either break a combo or it just comes back slowly over time. It's like blue life in a versus game.
Okay.
So you just kind of have to be patient. Like Cinder's like the character. Like if he gets in your head and you get like pissed, he just wins.
Yeah, I do want to face you again because I want to see if my Riptor is getting any better. But you mentioned your TO. I've kind of noticed you honestly, I think you have the most successful, one of the most successful Guilty Gear tournaments online right now. So where did that start? Like you said, Melee was where you got into it. Have there been other tournaments that you've just slowly grown into over time? Like how many different games have you like championed and TO'd?
As far as TOing goes, I've TO'd Melee events, I've done Smash 4 events, I've done Smash Ultimate events, I've done Dragon Ball Fighters, and I've done Guilty Gear. But I like to Melee was like the biggest chunk of TOing for me, just because it was like the first thing I got into, and like Smash locals are like way different than fighting game locals, in a lot of weird different ways.
Yeah. I used to TO Smash tournament, so I can relate.
Yeah, like Smash tournaments and like just like the lingo and like everything is different. Like I don't know if you did this because I heard this was a thing and I thought that was so weird. Like Smash locals, like you seed all your locals, but apparently fighting game locals, like everybody just shuffles the seeds and does it randomly, which I always thought was weird. I was like, you guys don't seed the locals, like what does it matter? But like the thing about Smash is also like every region has like a PR that comes out every like quarter, and like people are super interested in like power rankings and stuff like that of how good you are in your scene. But with fighting games, it's like, oh, if you didn't top 8 like a major or like win a regional, like you are a nobody.
I can.
It's very weird. But that was like the most of my TOing was Melee and Smash because that's what I got into. And then honestly, mostly my regular fighting game stuff has been online TOing, but since I like came back to going to locals after Dragon Ball came out, I kind of just made friends with the TOs there, and I was like, hey, like, shout out Alex if you're watching this or see this somehow. I went up to him and I was like, hey man, like I used to be a Smash guy, and he's like, oh, I know who you are. And I was like, word. I was like, if you need anything, you know, let me know because I don't mind ever putting on the TO gloves for a little. And doing it, but I've been helping them and consulting with stuff, but most of my stuff has been online. It makes it a lot easier for me, just because like online's cool. You can do so many cool things with online tournaments, and they're definitely really slept on.
You must be really excited that like we now have netcode where it's possible, because like for the longest time we haven't been able to do that.
I mean, I ran Dragon Ball online, and man, that was rough. That was pretty rough. I ran like the eastern side of the United States tournaments, and like people would be like, oh, this dude has bad connection. I'm like, bro, he lives 4 towns from you. That is not my fault. I can't do anything about that. You're gonna play the set and shut up. Like, bro, like I don't know what you want me to do about it, but like I can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, Guilty Gear, like I don't think I've seen any really bad like any videos, anything bad about Guilty Gear, at least so far. Same thing with Melty. I haven't really seen anything bad with Melty either.
The Melty netcode's okay. I feel like if I ran that as a tournament, I would try just the United States, the continental United States.
Yeah.
But with Guilty Gear, I'm doing way more stuff with that. Like I'm doing. For my tournaments, I allow the U.S., continental U.S., Canada, Mexico, Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas are all the regions that are allowed to enter my events.
Do you get people from all those regions too?
Yes,
Dude,
honestly,
awesome.
So most of my top players, or a lot of my top players, are Mexican.
Wow.
There's two guys who were winning like back to back to back weeks straight. Were two Mexican players, Mike Seftig and Cheto. They're two really good players. And then a guy who wins a lot, also Kid Boomer. He's from Canada.
Hmm.
Not a lot of Americans win my tournament, apparently.
Hmm.
But shout out my boy Yurikov if you somehow see this. He's a New Jersey rep. He won a tournament very recently.
Nice.
But even last week we had Mena RD, who is like a huge Street Fighter player. He's from the Dominican Republic. He won last week.
Hmm.
Um, it's cool. It's really cool to make this platform, especially because like a lot of the Central and South American players get no eyes on them. They are not treated as a real region, and it's probably very frustrating for them, especially trying to get going, flying over the border to come to a lot of these American and Canadian events, because where a lot of the events are over here, and it's frustrating for them. But a lot of these online tournaments have shown like there's a lot of really good players in Central and South America, and I'm just happy for them that they finally get people to respect them in their game and see that they're what's up.
Hmm. Like, have you since you've done TOing, like, how long now? Since you said 2017?
I would say that I started TOing, like helping out around 2014 when I got into
Oh,
the scene
okay.
very early. But I would say I was like full time TOing from my local from like halfway of 2015 onwards until
Okay.
like 2017.
All right, so I'm not looking for any names. You don't have to like rat anyone out. But like, I remember some of the nonsense that I dealt with hosting a Smash tournament. Is there any like stories that like you can think of that you're like, ugh, that make you like want to whack your head or
Dude,
like?
it's just so much drama.
Yeah.
It's like high school. I don't get it. It's so frustrating. Like so many people care about like seating, and then like like if someone who's like a really good player in your scene like drops a game to like a nobody or whatever, like they just get like ripped on by everyone else, and it's like playing friendly slash casuals with people who aren't like good players, if you're a good player, is like frowned upon. It's super weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any like specific stories other than like the rare controller spike that everyone sees, but
I actually
it's
had,
just like
yeah.
so many like weird things that just like cultivate together, and it's bad vibes.
Yeah. Like the few times when it was a small crew, we never had an issue, but when I started reaching like 20 plus, that's when drama actually started coming through. Prize pools, all that kind of stuff was a little bit of a headache too. But yeah.
I got lucky with my venue because one of my best friends, his dad owned the venue,
Oh,
so it was
nice.
super easy. He's like, I just want 50-50 split on venue, and you guys are good, don't worry about anything else. We had like keys to the place. We were allowed to move stuff around. We always moved it back. We were always cool with him. We would go over his house sometimes, and he would ask us some stuff, and we were super chill with it. We never, but he gave us like a lot of leeway. Like he would let us use his office for like holding the money, and we would let use the back room to set our stream setup. We were able to move the fixtures around. It was a retro gaming store, so we were allowed to move stuff around, which made things easier. And like some venues are awful with that, and I genuinely would miss that venue, even though it was very small, just because it was just like so easy to do everything there.
Yeah. I definitely think part of the reason why mine, the one that I did, I think the reason it failed is because there was too much input from like the venue. Like the venue, like it was their event in
I've
their
had
eyes.
that. I've had that too.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, especially when people don't understand it.
Yeah. Like I was also a
That's like
fledgling at this. I was super new, so I was asking some of the players like, "Hey, what should I do?" And then I was getting an earful from them, then an earful from the players, and I'm like, everything together just was just a headache, and I hated every second of it up till the end. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'd rather be a player, get O2'd, and then go home and have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make things easier. It's less stressful. Also, like, I really don't. Sometimes I do, but I also don't miss showing up to the venue at 11 a.m. and leaving at 1 in the morning. I just don't miss that.
Oh, how many
That
tournament? Like, was it? That's obviously pools. The whole tournament.
so how honestly, like my local that I ran for a really long time for Smash did Melee and PM.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Project M, for
Yeah.
those who don't know, it's like the mod for Brawl. Um, we did that. PM was really big in our scene, and Melee was like decently sized, but you were also one of the few people running it in like a decent spot, so a lot of people would just show up there, and it was just it was fun, but there's a lot of like weird shit you have to do with Smash. Also, carrying, I just thought about it now, carrying CRTs or having like 8 CRTs in my Toyota Camry was awful.
Yeah. I think it's a big thing that I think even if we do get like how everyone wants like a HD port of Melee, something's gonna be wrong with that version where none of the Melee players.
I've come to that fact because I've always thought that too. It's just Melee will forever live in that legacy world, and like I still have a CRT in my trunk. I don't play Melee at all anymore. Yeah. I'll play like online once in a while. But like I always keep a CRT in my trunk because it's just something that I've had in there since high school. I always just like, that was the thing. Like, oh, you're a Melee player. It's like all my friends, we used to carry like a CRT and like a Wii in our cars always. Yeah. So like if we were anywhere, it'd be like, yo, you want to play Melee? We'll just set up a setup anywhere if we have outlets.
Yeah. You played through the Wii and not the GameCube boxes. Or the
GameCubes are just harder to get, and Wii's are super dirt cheap at the time. Like at one point, I think I owned like 8 Wii's.
I think I have 2 in my closet right now. I only have 1 copy of Melee, like 1. And I know that's
well, you don't. Yeah. You have to learn to talk to your grandfather at Nintendo to teach you how to get Melee on the Wii.
Yeah, I will. We'll talk after this.
Yeah, it's very
pretty easy.
Easy, very easy.
Good. Well, it's not like you can go online with the Wii anymore, anyways. So, all right. So another question I wanted to ask you, was actually more of a, so like when I actually did the tournament, when we did the Melty Blood tournament recently, which you did great, by the way. You got 3rd place, right?
I
think you lost to.
Yeah, I got 3rd. I lost to Freddy twice. Yeah, and I'm so mad both times. Oh my god, I still have PTSD from the 2 stupid things happening. Yeah, he literally the first set he dropped a combo and got a reset in game 3 at the end and won it, and I was really mad about that. And then game 5 he dropped the combo again, and because ground normals are air unblockable in Melty Blood, his raw super hit me and I just died because I didn't shield it, and I was like, wow, that is so dumb.
Well, the reason I don't know if you realized it, I don't think Sharpie realized it either. When I did the like call out to all you guys, I'm like, hey, let's all get together, let's do a tournament. That was me kind of subtly saying, hey, tGrass, hey Sharpie, why don't you guys host a tournament for us and we're all compete.
You could
I didn't want to say it. It may have been Sharpie's fault because Sharpie's like, yeah, Phil, absolutely, you can do this. And I'm like, crap, that's not I was intending. But yeah, sure, well, let's go for it. I think it went well. If you could do more tournaments like that, is there any like certain games that like you feel would work well for like an audience that would like what
for if we did something like with our crew again and did something like that?
Like doesn't have to be something popular. Like what games do you think people
I think we kind of missed the ball with Nickelodeon. I think Nickelodeon would have been fun. Who knows? Maybe we'll play Warner Brothers Collective Universe Online, whatever they're gonna call that game when it comes out.
I'm sure Hungrybox will tell us in like a week. So
yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. We have a lot of stuff coming out. Maybe we could do King of Fighters. King of Fighters is gonna be fun. I think that comes out in like February. Yeah. I just like think if a lot of us are still in like the early growing stages, like you and Yoshi and Sharpie and Drew all have like even Freddy have like a bunch of followers and like have a pretty solid community across the board. But like, you know, people like me, Lumi, Floki,
you guys are killing it. You guys are all growing. I love it.
We're doing all right. Yeah. I definitely think Lumi's been killing it the most, but
Lumi's been doing really good.
It was the Floki era right before the tournament, and now I feel like Lumi's really coming up right now. Yeah. So good for it. Good on Lumi.
Lumi's really finding his I don't know what the right word is.
His groove.
His groove, yeah. He's figured it out.
Yeah.
Like I get excited whenever you guys like throw a question out. I'm like, yes, let me answer this. Like if I could just be that guy, like I'm sure a lot of your inspirations probably come from like Max and Wooly and like Sajam, some of the other guys as well.
Let's bring up a quick thing. TikTok. What happened to Q&A?
Is that gone still? I haven't even.
I haven't seen my Q&A on my page and since you brought it up. I don't know.
That's a good question. I actually don't have an answer for that because I just I'm going into my questions because I can see that you can ask a question still. You can ask.
Yeah, but how
I
do
just
you
don't.
get to your own questions?
That is a question I don't have an answer. I don't think you can technically turn it on. Maybe you have to have a certain point. No, it's in creator tools. Yeah, it shows here usually you can toggle it on and off. It's not even there anymore. Like I can ask you a question
What
right
happened to
now.
TikTok? Yeah, you can ask a question, but it only comes up in notifications now. So if it was a question that was sitting there, I was waiting there. Just...
Well, here's another
Oh
thing.
wait, what if they changed it in the notifications? Is questions in here?
No, that's gone too.
No.
I just checked. I don't know. I know it's kind of sucks because that was actually huge for me because I answered a question every day. Like I would constantly be in my.
Now you have to look through the comments.
Yeah, it's brutal,
can't believe
man.
that.
It's brutal.
You
So
have to-
like I started doing duets and stitches because those are just as easy. You know what I mean? Like today I'm probably gonna duet Q Quessential. He does like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
He made a video yesterday talking about different type of fighting games. I may just duet that and say I agree, I don't agree, I agree, just so I can have like one video for the night. But like whatever's going on TikTok, figure out your shit, man.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Also, I'm just gonna when that comes back, I'm gonna ask you a million Q&A questions.
Oh
Just
yeah,
for you.
sure. There's like a lot of things that are like hard to answer in videos when people are like, "How does this work as a TO?" And I'm like, I can't answer that in a minute. I could give you 30 minutes if that's good.
Like
If
I
you
tried to
give me an
think.
hour.
I think I asked you a couple questions. Like what? Like I would love tell me a situation about how would you handle like a toxic player or something like that. To me, I'm interested in that because I also have had experiences. But I'm also thinking of people who are just getting into the fighting game community, checking out TikTok. Like they would like to see like, oh, tGrass is the TO guy. I kind of was interested in that. I would love to hear his opinion on that. You know, I mean, that's like how I. It's a whole going back to when you make content you would like to see. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's just there's definitely a version of me that exists in 2014 that would ask all these questions, and then there's like the somewhat jaded 2021 version of me that I'm like, you stupid mother. No, what are you asking this question for?
Yeah. But back to what I said earlier, like, who are your inspirations? Like what got you wanting to be a content creator? Like, where did that come from?
I said it very quickly before, but I really have wanted to be a content creator since I was like 12, 13 years old when I first found out what Achievement Hunter was.
Yeah.
And I thought those people, I still watch videos of Achievement Hunter and with my girlfriend, and we still watch them all the time. Like two or three people that like in my very early age that I was like, I want to do what they do is like Michael Jones and Ray Navarez Jr. and Gavin Free. Those three guys were like the funniest people on the planet to me.
Okay.
And they had fun doing the coolest things. And then like I got older and I was like, I don't think I could do what they do because I don't really like all the things they do, and I'm sure they don't either. But then with fighting games, I gotta, of course, say Maximilian. Like Maximilian was huge for me. Like I met him at TwitchCon 2019. That was like super cool to see.
I'm so jealous of that photo.
You can kind of see it in the poster. It's a signed poster by all the people from Yo Video Games. Like Kenny, Steve Simmons, and Max.
Mm-hmm.
And I met them. They were super cool, really nice. He's honestly them together is more of an inspiration for me because I want my own Yo Video Games because I think that would be the coolest thing, just to like have like 4 people that like they all like fighting games, but like they also just like can play Mario Party, and it's the funniest thing in the world. Like if you've ever watched them play Mario Party, it's super funny, especially when whoever wins because they get super mad, and that's half Mario Party. Max is huge for me for most of my entertainment content. When it comes to things like educational content, like I really like Sajam's takes on a lot of things, but I also really love like Esteban Hold Back to Block.
Yeah.
I think the things that he's done has been so cool, and like the whole community should be incredibly thankful to have someone like that who can, do these things, fly around the globe, interview these players, and make like a very well made structured piece of information. Because like things like that live forever, you know. Like you may not remember every episode of SpongeBob, but you'll remember the movie you just saw. Like you'll remember, even if you don't remember everything, you'll remember that movie exists, right? And
Yeah.
like when you put things into these long form content, we are very very lucky to have someone like that in the community. And then I gotta say like I have different people who inspire me for different things. Like as a TO, like it's like Rick and Jabali, like Rick the Hado and Jabali. Because I knew about Jabali before I knew about Rick, because CEO was also a Smash tournament. And like those guys do cool stuff. Like I would love to one day, and I've talked about this with so many people, it's like the Long Island FGC dream to host a major on Long Island, like a real major, like a 10-game major. It's really, really hard to do over here just because it sucks to get over here, but I think it could be really cool. But those are the most...
That is a drive. I look even for me, I'm not that far away from you, and that's a drive for me, so...
Yeah, it's a drive, but I feel like they could... Problem is just like Long Island, everything over here is so expensive. Like even like we have like a few hotels, but like they're just so expensive because it's, you know, it's Long Island and blah blah blah. Like everything's so expensive here, but nobody has money. That is the truth. That is the biggest truth about New York. Everything is so expensive, but nobody has any money.
Yeah, like I live in upstate New York, so like it's... I don't want to say it's like it's just suburban everywhere. You know what I mean? So like trying to get any like space, like if I say like I go to a pizza place, like, hey, can we throw some like monitors up and like a couple systems? They're like, yeah, sure, $50 for the whole entire day. I'm like, I'm lucky if I get like 6 people to show up to pay me $5 just to cover it. It's not.
But I'm so jealous because if I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about if we like threw some monitors and some PS4s up and played some fighting games? They're like, it's like $1,000 for the day.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, at a Pizza Hut, like.
You can't get space inside like a Pizza Hut or something like that. So you have to go to like a mom and pop, and they're like, well, I'm gonna lose people and my power bill and this and that. And I'm just like, you want $1,000 for me to host an event out of your card store? Like,
yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Sorry, we're gonna interrupt your Magic the Gathering one night. Sorry.
Dude, the Magic fans over here, they don't like FGC players because we
Not
would usually
all.
do things at the same. We would do things on the same nights, and like they take up a lot of space, but we take up a lot of space, and usually we're way louder. And like I don't know why they just, maybe they like the quiet more, but I'm just like, you know, there's always somebody across the venue like, oh shit, get fucked or something like that, and people are complaining to owners and stuff. It always happens.
My very first tournament I ever went to, it was either Melee or it was an X-Men Next Dimension. It was at a card shop. So there were 3 GameCubes set up, and we were all playing on those. Like I don't remember which game we were playing, but I remember going there, and all the Magic people were looking at. There was a bunch of teenagers, and we're all just looking over there, and all of these old, like full adult males looking at us playing video games, like we're the problem. And it never like, what is, dude, just let us have fun, like enjoy your cardboard. Now with that said, I did eventually get into Magic for a little bit there, but that's another pricey.
I played Magic growing up a lot, and I loved the game, and then I got older and I'm like, man, this is so much money to sink into this game. I cannot do it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with comics. Like I'm a huge comic book nerd. I was collecting, I have like every Nightwing comic from like 2015 to like 2020, and I remember at the beginning of the pandemic I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm reading these, and not to be that guy, but like I can read them all online now for free. Like
it's like the shitty part, right?
Yeah, I know.
But, like
the collecting,
you want to support the collecting part's cool, and you also want to support the artists and like the writers, because they don't get treated that well in the comic community. But man, is it just like, there's just so many hoops to jump through that you're just like, I could just go around all of it.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy, and I'm not going to be, but like it definitely has happened to me before where I was like, you have to cut the line at one point where like, I can't do this anymore. You need to take a break. But this is going to be my segue. I know that you're a fellow Nightwing fan. Is he your all-time favorite superhero, or is he up there, or...
For DC, definitely my favorite DC character. I also really like Shazam. Those are probably 2 of my favorites. But I'm not the biggest DC fan.
Okay.
just because I've always been a firm believer that Superman, it does not need to exist anymore, and it's just like a really, really bad character in modern media. But I liked a lot of DC stuff growing up, but I definitely think for DC, I definitely really like Nightwing.
Is it because he's like a young superhero? Like you got to see him grow
You know,
up?
I always liked the show Teen Titans, and then I never knew which Robin it was, and then find out it's Dick Grayson, and then like all the cool stuff, and then you see like the Nightwing suit, and I'm like, that looks badass, but he's also not like a super. He's an edgelord, but he's not Batman edgelord level.
Yeah.
But also he's got like the cool gadgets, and like I think it's like part that he's younger, but also part that just like I pick apart Batman way too much, and it just doesn't. Batman doesn't make sense to me either.
Really?
Like I'm like, man, this could all be solved with some therapy. Like, bro is going ham over nothing. Or like, I'll play like the Batman games. I'm like, I don't kill people. I'm Batman. I'm like, run people over with the Batmobile. I'm like, bro, you're dead. You just killed someone. Like, you just broke the code. Like, it drives me insane. Even like, I just last week started watching the Christopher Nolan Batman movies again.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you haven't done that in a long time, you should. Batman Begins is a fucking horrible movie. I thought it was really bad, and like the whole story doesn't make sense. The Dark Knight was okay. Heath Ledger really carries that movie.
Yeah,
but Batman just doesn't make sense. Like he's like blowing up like semis and school buses with like anti-air missiles, and he's like, I don't kill people. I'm like, bro, you just killed like 15 people with that bus. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah. I think it's the more of like they need him to be that character more than he actually is. Like if you watch any like super move that Batman has ever had ever, it would like it's blunt trauma to somebody. Someone's probably gonna die from this.
Yeah, I love that. Or like the meme that was like a while ago, that was like Batman be like beating you up, and then he's like, "All right, now talk," and you're like, your skull's like caved in. It's like, bro, you just made that guy brain dead, but I guess he'll tell you where the jewels are that he stole.
Yeah. Like I started getting into Nightwing. I don't know if you follow Comic Storian on YouTube.
I don't.
He pretty much just goes through like the lore of like all the different comics. Like he'll in like podcast form almost, he'll explain an entire story arc. And I got into that. Like I liked Nightwing for the longest time because I just think his logo is super cool. It's super simple, the little blue hawk and everything. And I always liked all of the Robins. I like Jason Todd. I like Damian. Well, Damian's a little prick, but
I'm not a big Damian person. I'm not a huge Jason Todd person. Tim Drake's okay.
Tim's my least favorite out of the mix. I think people give Tim way too much praise just because he's the smartest doesn't mean he's the coolest. Like he may be the most analytical and like the best detective, but everyone praises him, and he's like, to me, he's the bottom tier of the Robins. But that's just my own opinion.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like Dick is always gonna be number one for me. Like he's gonna be my favorite no matter what. But I just like the heroes because like if you look at like what Batman is, like he's not he's a broken person. And he brought in a bunch of broken kids, and none of them are actually still broken because they found families through the Teen Titans or whatever. They like grew up. While Batman is the most grown up out of them all, and he's the one that's still like a broken man. I don't know that relationship in the whole Bat family. I don't know. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's just like Batman's the guy who's like, he's like the like everybody knew this kid in high school that like everybody would like talk to as like the therapy kid and be like everyone would like be open up to him. But then like whenever he had issues, he'd be like, nah, I don't want to talk to anyone about it. Just like, dude,
just by himself.
Come on, man. Like you do it to yourself at this point.
Yeah. So what is your game? I asked this to Floki too, and like I think he just said it was Fighters. But like, if you had to pick like one game that you feel like is your fighting game, like I've mentioned before, like Injustice 2 is mine, right? Like I just feel comfortable and I feel at home at that game. Do you have one of those?
For a while I would say it was Fighters, but like I definitely really fell off with that game. I could probably, I don't know if we're talking about like what's the game where someone's like, "Yo, let's play a match," and like I can definitely beat you in that kind of game.
I don't feel that I can beat everyone in Injustice. It's just the game that I'm always happy to want to play.
Are you saying like, oh, this is the game you'll always A, want to play, and B, be like, like very confident in.
Yeah, I guess the game you'll never be scared to go back to.
I guess I would say Melee, and I definitely have a very special place in my heart for Soul Calibur. I
Okay.
really, really do. I wish more people would play the game. I would play the game if more people played it because I really love the series, but it just kind of gets trashed on. But I'd say those games are like the two like special place in my heart games. Melee is like I'm very thankful for it because it's a game that like brought me to where I am as a person. Like I met almost all my best friends through that game, and Soul Calibur was like that first step series that like showed me like these types of games are cool, and like there's a lot of things that it just kind of brought me into the genre.
Okay. Like, who was your main in? Are you talking about Soul Calibur 2? I'm assuming, right?
Across all the games, I try and only play Siegfried. I mess around with a lot of characters, but I only try and play Siegfried / Nightmare, whoever's in the game.
So you just pretty much so you let he's kind of well, kind of, I guess he's not a Shoto. There's not really not that kind of character, but what would you like?
He's your protag character, but also not at the same time because like I don't know if you know much about the Soul Calibur story, but it's like
the lore's
a little
bonkers.
It's a little all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody wants this weapon that can like grant them whatever they need, but the weapon is evil. But there's a good version of the weapon, but only certain people can have it, and blah 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 blah. And then like Raphael becomes a vampire.
I remember, I think I did one of my videos on TikTok. I made fun of it, where it's like everyone has a different reason to go after the Soul Edge. Like I think Mitsurugi's like, I just want to face a strong opponent. Siegfried's like, this is kind of my fault, and then Nightmare's, it is your fault.
Yeah, it's like also the same. It's like him talking to himself in the mirror. It's like, this is my fault. He's like, yeah, we know that's you, bud. Like,
it's all your fault. Cervantes is like, I'm trying to get it back, and like, I think
everyone's like, bro, you're so old, go away. And then Ivy's like, I hate my dad, and Sophia's like, I just want to follow Siegfried. And then Cassandra's like, I just want to follow my sister. And then there's all these other characters that are like Huang and Talim and all these characters, and you're like, dude, where do you all fit into this? And Keelik and Maxi, and like there's pirates, and then there's like Greece, but it's not Greece.
Where's Valdo show up in this entire?
I don't even know, but Valdo's so cool. I couldn't even tell you the full lore of every character, but I know that I know the Siegfried lore pretty well, and I was like, I connect with this character. He seems really cool. Also, anything with a great sword, sign me up. I'll play it.
I always played like Sophia and Cassandra, like those two. Like I liked them when I was younger, and I played, I think, Soul Calibur, or back when it was just Soul Edge. There was like, I remember playing Soul Edge all the time at the like local arcade, and I remember like if you blocked too much, your shield would just be taken away, and my brain couldn't understand that. Like that's how crazy those games were too. Like the games, at least in the arcade versions. Like I remember trying to learn those games. I was trash. I think that's why Tekken I picked up so easy, because it was just like 2-button wonder characters were in those games.
Soul Calibur is like such a weird game though, because it has like ring outs and destructible arenas, but it also has like the 8-way run mechanic, which is like super cool. And then there's armor breaking and GIing, which is different from blocking. And like,
yo, are we gonna start playing? We can start playing Soul Calibur 6 now after this. Is that?
I'd love to play Soul Calibur. I'll try and remember some stuff. I've never played it on Hitbox before, so I'd be pretty excited for that. But like, the games are really cool. They're definitely slept on, and I really wish more people in the community would play them. But when it comes to a 3D game, people will only play Tekken, which sucks to me.
Well, until Bloody Roar comes out, and then it'll be a different beast.
Yeah. You want a hug, bud?
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's
All right, we are getting up here in time, but there's the big question I always want to ask is, what does the fighting game community mean to you, tGrass?
That is a very loaded question, Phil. Fighting game community, which has gone through a lot of bumps and narrows for me, has been really just a place where like-minded people should look to have friends and have fun, find family, and that's kind of like what it was for me in the beginning. Like I started fighting games with like 2 or 3 friends, and like I met so many more along the way, and those were so cool. And then when it came to streaming, I met so many people, and apparently, as I found out in the last week, affected so many people positively and done good for them. Which I don't know how I'm doing that by playing Dragon Ball Fighters or Guilty Gear, but I guess I'm doing something right. It's all about just finding your people, you know. Like there's so many communities, especially like when it comes to esports, that people look up infinitely at these people who are icons, but this community is so grounded at times that it's really nice that you can just look around and find your grow as people or as creators or as players together and make those lifelong connections. I think that's really what it means to me. It's just find your family and be happy with them.
That's awesome, dude. That's a like a picture perfect like saying there. Find your family.
Yeah, there you go. FGC.
Yeah, there you go.
Find your C family.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so tGrass, where can people find you? People that listen through all this podcast, where would they find you to follow you?
So on YouTube and Twitch, it's youtube.com/tgrass and twitch.tv/tgrass. On TikTok and Twitter, I am at tgrass715. I can't get the ads for tGrass on either of those sites. It is very frustrating. But that's where you can find me. If you're looking for content I do on the regular, I'm trying to post more as much as I can on TikTok. And I host a online tournament for Guilty Gear for PC. It's free to enter every Thursday. And yeah, my DMs are open on all platforms. If you ever need me for anything, if I can help out in any way for anyone in the community, obviously if it's reasonable, I want to be there for people. So, hit me up if you need me with anything, and that's where I'm at.
So is Smash GG's where we find you to sign up for a tournament too, right?
You could honestly, any of my social media links, if you DM me on there, or if you can somehow get back to my Twitter, it's always there. You can always just find me from Twitter or Twitch from my Discord. I think I have a link tree on all of my things now, so you can find my Discord from anywhere.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, the second I found out about what a link tree was, I'm like, man, why haven't I been using this for years?
Just made mine like last month because I finally figured out after signing in on someone's iPad that I can put a link in my bio if I sign in on an Apple product on TikTok. So I just made a link tree to make things way easier.
Oh, is it on an Apple product?
Yeah, you can't do it on Android for some reason. You can't put a link in your bio. So I borrowed my dad's iPad and I tied it on TikTok from there, and then I was able to add it. Now, it's actually crazy. I can do it from Android now, but only after I signed it on an Apple device. Don't know why.
I had to sign up for the Creator Fund and then get off of it just so I had the privilege to put it. You needed to be in the Creator Fund to do it. So I did that, and just so I can put it in my link tree, and then I got out of the Creator Fund. That's TikTok is a weird and odd beast. I'll never understand how that works half the time. It's just bonkers to me.
It's like sometimes it's like this works perfectly. Then other times you're like, this thing is a piece of shit. I don't
Right?
know how this works.
Yeah. But tGrass, I'm so happy that I've been able to meet you. It's been a blast getting to know you, and I can't wait to get my butt mollywop from you in Soul Calibur later tonight.
Hey, yo! Yes, it'll definitely be fun to beat you in the fighting game, pal. It's been good. Good. Everyone we've met has been great. Thank you for having me on. It's been good. I've been happy to make all these new friends, especially we've been apparently following each other for nearly a year now, so I'm glad that we've become to the point where we're actually friends and not just
for sure, dude.
Mutuals or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who does sketch type comedy in the FGC over on TikTok, I love all you guys. Like, you guys are the best. I will do anything I can for you guys if I can. You guys are the best. So
also, NRS Clip Talkers, I'm coming for you.
Get him, tGrass.
I'm coming for you, motherfuckers. You NRS Clip Talkers. I find out one thing is staged and it's over for you guys. I swear.
But all right, tGrass, thank you so much, and that's it for this week's podcast, I guess. forget to follow tGrass on all the platforms that he mentioned. You can also follow me on Twitch every Sunday and Tuesday. I'm always streaming something for you guys to enjoy. I also have an FGC TikTok account and a Patreon if you feel like supporting the channel. If you like the video today, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. My name is Phil, and of course, I'll talk to you guys soon.